Okay, let's get started. Priest will be another half hour apparently. Traffic or something. And I heard back from Matthews, he's giving us an extension.
How long?
A month.
He's so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He said it was the least he could do under the circumstances.
It's more than enough time.
Yeah. Considering how much we've each got done already, we can split up the rest 3 ways and be ready to start collating it all by, I don't know, let's say next Monday?
Should be doable.
Sure.
Alright. Yeah, so I'll do the prize, you guys can do the prejudice. Sorry. I mean, I've got most of my stuff, the Jane and Bingley bits in the bag, and there's no rugby matches coming up, so I'll easily have time for the rest. Rachel, you've got the parts with Darcy and Bingley's sister. And Tony, since you've taken on the big one with Lizzie and Darcy, I reckon Rachel and me can divvy up the Lydia and Wickham sections between us. I don't want to lump you with too much.
No, don't worry about it. Really. Darcy and Elizabeth, it's really, they're so much easier to talk about because they're right there, you see. It'll take you 2 forever to comb through the book, but every mention of Wickham and Lydia, I'll help out.
Alright, if you're sure.
I'm sure. I mean, thank you. You're a sweetheart, but I'm sure.
Alright. Do you reckon there's anything that could give us a head start?
Oh, maybe. There might be some notes in Chris's room.
I hope they haven't taken him away.
No, I'm sure
They won't have, but I can pop by there tomorrow, take a look.
Great. Tell the truth, I'm not even sure I can remember where his room was. He only invited me over the once, back in term 2 it was. Term 2 during Shakespeare module. Of course, Chris would be the lad who brought the complete works of Shakespeare to uni with him. I mean, I barely knew him at the time, but when I saw those, 35, 40 books all lined up on his shelf in alphabetical order, I weren't surprised in the least. Instinct, I guess. It tells you a lot about a person. If they're reliable, that is. And mine always have been. It was then what told me to ask him about the plays, or what didn't fit into one or the other category. And you know what? I could have looked it up. Could have used the internet instead of asking Chris, but every day since, I'm glad I didn't. Yeah, I don't remember where his room was, how to get there and that. He never invited me over again, even after we all got started together.
That's strange.
Not really. I might have broken something while I was in there.
The clay unicorn?
Yeah.
It was you?
Yeah.
He told me that was a present from his nephew.
Yeah, he told me that too. After I knocked it over. After! God, I felt terrible. Of course I did. He practically shoved Pericles into my hands and hurried me out of there like he was a firefighter saving me from a burning building. I barely got a chance to thank him.
Well, now it's my turn to thank you.
Thank me.
That thing was hideous. You could tell it was made by a 4-year-old.
Oh.
I felt bad for him, of course. Losing something a family member gave you, it was obviously precious to him. He really loves... He loved his nephew.
Yeah. Well, I guess you're welcome then.
What is it, Rach?
Rachel.
The pair of you just shut up!
Rachel, we're just...
Sorry, Rach.
You're making fucking jokes! That clay uniform Chris's nephew gave to him as a birthday present because he loved his uncle that much and you broke it. And you're making fun of it. And both of you are making a fucking joke out of it.
That's not how I meant it at all.
Yeah, we're just trying to...
Trying to what?
We're coping. It's how we're coping.
Coping? You're coping? Well, it must be fucking nice.
Oh. Martin, don't bother. It's no use, trust me. I've known her longer than you, and even if you go over there and apologise on your knees, all you'll accomplish is covering that rented sink with grass stains.
I'm surprised you're holding it together so well. I mean, it's everything I can do to keep my hands from shaking, and I only knew him since January. And you grew up with him. What are you laughing at? What did I say?
I didn't grow up with Chris. She did. Oh.
But you two, you acted like you'd known each other all your lives.
Are you single, Martin? Oh, don't be ridiculous. Of course, that's not why I'm asking. You aren't even my type. What I meant was, if you've had a girlfriend, you might know what it's like when you just click with someone, even if you've never spoken to them before. They smile at you from across the room and it's like they can see past your eyes and into your soul. Have you ever felt that way with someone? Pity. Don't worry, it's bound to happen soon though. Anyway, you might have guessed, that's how it was for me and Chris. I haven't told you this already. Okay, well, it was just before Freshers Week started. I'd moved in a little earlier than most. Not sure why. Just felt like getting a head start on the university experience. I came up on the Wednesday or Thursday or something, and then over the weekend, the rest of them started to trickle in. I just sat in my room and watched it all happen. You've seen it, haven't you? The view from my window. If you look down and to the right, you look out this, and you see all the cars from the front of the building. Have you seen it? Well, it's 2 floors up. It's a rather good vantage point. It was from there, from my window, that I saw him for the first time. Getting out of his parents' car. It was a nice one. And even for a university move-in day, he was so well dressed. I remember his jumper. It was orange. So bright, I swear I could have seen it from 10 floors up. Shit, they could probably see it in space. And it matched his suitcases. He was helping get the suitcases from the boots. And as he turned, he happened to look up. Right up where I was, right at my window. And he smiled at me. That smile of his. I didn't just see his smile that day, I felt it. Every inch of me, I felt his warmth spreading through me, starting in my chest and filling my blood, spreading all the way down to my toes and fingertips. I'm sure I smiled too. How could I not? In that moment, that infinitely brief moment, I felt more loved than I have ever had before. And I didn't even know his name. It was ridiculous. But then, of course, I am a ridiculous man. So as soon as he went into the building, I dashed to the front door and waited for him to knock on it. I imagined the moment. He'd knock, I'd throw the door open, introduce myself with some witty line that I'd surely come up with in the moment, and he'd laugh. And I'd laugh, and I'd take his hand and show him to his friend. And then I heard voices in the corridor, and that snapped me right back to reality. Of course, he was going into the other flat, the one across the landing, so I never got my fantasy moment. It was another few days before we happened to bump into each other and really got talking. That was in the cafeteria, and there was this
The spotted dick?
What? I thought I had a...
No, you didn't. It was Chris told me this one, your first date.
Really? He did? Wait, what did he say about it?
Well, he said a lot of the same stuff you did. Not the same exactly, but the way he felt about you, I could tell he really cared.
I always wanted to ask him about that day. Sometime you're going to have to tell me everything he said to you. Everything, you hear me?
Of course.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't worry about it. It's fine. Tony, it's fine. Stop.
Sorry about that. Very off-brand of me.
It's alright, especially on a day like today. Can't be sarcastic all the time, yeah?
Well, it's pretty fun to try.
Tony, I figure you're one of the only lads I can tell about this. You asked if I was single, if I've had a girlfriend, and I have. I mean, I'm single now, but there's been girls before. Oh, there's been girls. Back in school, there was this one, Annika, her name was. She had these bright blue eyes and a banging pair of shoes. Anyway, that's not what I meant to say. You were asking about that moment you have, where you see them, and it's just... You know what, come to think of it, I could really do with the bog. I'll go see if I can find it.
I don't know if you saw him earlier, but Dennis is wearing the cutest little suit today. Dennis? Chris's nephew? I just... Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, show must go on.
Yep. Dennis, Chris's nephew. I saw him and his dad just now. He looked confused, like he doesn't even know why he's here. The poor kid. Anyway, his suit, it's just adorable. It's a three-piece, I think. Dark grey, pinstripes. We've got a tiny little waistcoat and one of those pocket handkerchief things. I reckon you could take some fashion tips from him.
You know, he's really a decent guy. You were too hard on him.
I'm sorry I snapped at you. You were just trying to lighten the mood a bit. I'm gonna work harder to keep my feelings to myself. The last thing I want to do is pitch a bloody fit in the church while everyone else is grieving.
Well, that's progress at least. A word of advice though, starting off with the apology tends to be a better olive branch than talking about a small child's fashion choices. Look, I know how hard today is for you. It's hard for me too.
I know, but him? He only met Chris a few months ago.
So what? He shouldn't feel sad about him. He should just be doing fine because, well, I only knew Chris for, 18 months, so I guess I should...
Shut up, you know that's not what I meant.
Then what did you mean? Seriously? You think that because Martin didn't know Chris as well as the rest of us, or hadn't known him as long, that he isn't allowed to mourn him? You think he doesn't belong here, is that it? Well, I've been watching him all morning, and he clearly agrees with me, watching him try and find Chris's mum to offer his condolences. It was almost painful. He started walking towards her, then he just stopped, looking like a frightened little puppy going upstairs for the first time, because he couldn't be sure she was actually Chris's mum, and not just his aunt or a friend of the family or something. Think about it. He's only known Chris since the start of last term, so he hasn't got the first clue what his parents look like. Between Chris's family and all your friends from back home, he hardly knows who anybody is. They don't know him, and he definitely doesn't think he deserves to be here. He feels lost, out of place, and one of the few people here that he actually does know basically just told him to fuck off. So I'd say he's pretty bloody far from fine, honey. That said, his comment about the clay unicorn was completely out of line. I mean, how insensitive and bloody-minded do you have to be to call a 4-year-old artwork hideous?
I'm sure he didn't mean it. Could you help me with something?
Of course, anything.
After I went off, I decided to practice my eulogy.
You're giving the eulogy?
Yeah, Chris's folks asked me to. They said he would have wanted his best friend to speak.
Well, that's nice of them.
I need to be able to get all the way through it. I can't just break down in front of everyone, so I wanted to practice it once or twice before I actually need to give it. Could you help me? Give me some tips?
Sure. Go on, let's hear it.
Okay, here it is. We're here today to remember Christopher Andrew Darnell, my best friend, the person who mattered more to me than anything else in the world. Chris and I...
Hey, look, I wasn't eavesdropping. I just came because I wanted to say, I'm sorry about earlier. I shouldn't have...
It's fine, it's okay.
I'm really sorry.
It's okay.
Right. Well, I guess I'll be off then. I'll see you guys in a bit, I guess.
Wait, Martin. I'm just showing Tony my eulogy for Chris, having a rough run through. I don't want to screw it up in everyone. Do you want to maybe sit and have a listen? Let me know what you think of it.
Yeah, sure thing, Rach. I'd love to.
Well, go on then. I wasn't that far through, I'll just start it over.
Alright.
Okay then. We're here today to remember Christopher Andrew Darnell, my best friend, the person who mattered more to me than anyone or anything else in the world. Chris and I grew up together. Most of you know that. We met at the exams to get into secondary school. My pen ran out of ink on the second page, and when I raised my hand to ask for a new one, the teacher said no questions. Being me, I hadn't brought a spare, so I was in deep trouble. But then a hand appeared from one side and dropped a pen on my desk with a little note wrapped around it that said, "Don't look at me or say anything. They'll think we're cheating." I did what the note said, and I ended up actually doing all right on the test. Good enough to get in, actually, and on the way out, I finally got a good look at the boy who'd saved my neck. He was neat, and neat, of course, even back then. Shirt tucked into his trousers and a sky blue tie that matched his socks. I remember my first thought, his mum must be a bloody nightmare if that's how she's made him dress. I'm going to pause for a little chuckle there. And just then, he took off the tie, stuffed it into his pocket and gave me a cheeky grin and said, "Mummy said the tie was too much." We started chatting and getting to know each other and found out that we lived on the same road. So of course that was how our friendship started. Is that a good start?
Yeah. Yeah, solid.
But you didn't just come here today to hear my life story, or even Chris's. You came because, just like how Chris saved me in that exam, there was a time he saved everyone here in some matter. He let Will blazer and tie for his first day with Emma back in number 6. And look at them now, they're still together. He proofread Seb's Macbeth essay the night before it was due, and he promised to teach me how to waltz and pick out a dress for the hockey team's dance social next week. He was always giving. That's why I loved him.
That's why we all loved him.
Oh, that's good. Has either of you got a pen?
Oh, yeah, I think I've got one here.
Okay, nice. Thanks, Tony. Chris was always giving. That's why we all loved him. We all loved him. He wasn't just willing, but happy to give us his time, his guidance, even his clothes. And every time he gave us something, he also gave us a little piece of him. And that was the greater gift. That was a greater gift than any borrowed outfit, essay proofreading, or dance lesson. Because we got to carry around a bit of Chris with us. And just like how he could light up any room he was in, having that piece of him with us lit up our lives a little bit too. And while I miss my best friend terribly, and I know I'm going to keep missing him forever, I know that I'll keep carrying around that piece of him. I'm okay. This is why I wanted to practice it, Make sure this doesn't happen later. I don't want to make a scene in front of everyone. Okay. I'll keep carrying around that piece of him. Okay, now, with all this talk about how much Chris helped people, I know it sounds like that's the thing I'll miss most about him. Life is a difficult tightrope to walk, and it's even harder when you don't have a safety net. But Chris Darnell wasn't just my safety net or even my best friend. He'd deny this, of course, with every arched eyebrow and ridiculous hand gesture he had, but Chris was my guardian angel. He watched over me. He made me feel warm and safe when the world was cold and dark. He was never anything but delighted to see me, or anyone for that matter. When he walked into a room where Chris was, no matter what he was doing, he'd look up at you and smile, like you were his long-lost brother or sister, who'd finally come home. And that's what I'll miss most about Chris. I think we all will. That way he looked at you, like you were special. 1 in a billion, all that mattered to him in that moment. I thought that I'd see that look every day, for the rest of my life. No. I can do it. I thought I'd see that look every day for the rest of my life. If I had known that was the last time I saw him would be the last time I saw him, I would have just sat and stared into his eyes for hours on end, trying to absorb every last drop of my best friend's love before it was gone forever. But of course, that's not what I did. No, what I did was, I told him all about this hockey team social where all the girls would be wearing nice dresses and doing all sorts of fancy dances, the kind that a grammar school in Manchester just doesn't prepare you for. And he smiled and laughed and he said, and I think this is word for word, "Rachel Lee Michaels, the day that I turned down a chance to teach someone how to waltz, take me out the back and shoot me between the eyes because I've either been replaced by some alien imposter or I've completely given up on life." Yeah, I'll pause for a chuckle there too. And we laughed and we settled on the day for my first lesson, and when I got up to leave, he hugged me. It wasn't a especially long hug or a tight one. In fact, it didn't feel special at all at the time, but looking back, while I was wrapped in that hug, I felt more loved than I can put into words. Because my best friend, Chris Darnell, saw the light in everything. He saw it in each of us and gave us some of his own light to keep it glowing bright and strong. So I'm going to spend my life looking for the light in everything and everyone. We all should. Because Chris lit up all of our lives so much that he deserves for his legacy to be us making the world a brighter place. Thank you.
Sorry, but Rach, that was beautiful. There won't be a dry eye in the house.
Oh, do you really think so?
Yeah, I do. I really do. That was just lovely.
Thanks, Martin.
What do you think, Tony?
Take out the tightrope line. It's rather redundant, and it's cliche.
Okay, Martin, can I borrow that pen again?
Yeah, of course.
Rach, it's a good eulogy.
Thanks, Tony. Martin, I just wanted to say, I'm sorry for snapping at you earlier. I'm going through a lot today and it wasn't fair to me to take it out on you, but, you know, I'm sad, of course, I'm confused and I'm angry, but it's not at you. I'm just, it's, you know, I don't know, the world, life, I guess. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll have to work harder at pushing my feelings down and keeping them under control. I don't want to make a whole bloody scene and ruin the day. I'll find ways to take my mind off of it.
Oh, no. I mean, you don't need to do that. Well, sometimes letting your feelings out can, help you deal with them. Like having a good cry, or I knew this one lad who would find a big open space and just shout. Put it all out in the open. That way he wasn't bottling anything up.
Look, Martin, that sounds fun and all, but the church is right over there. I'm not exactly going to scream my head off.
Well, it doesn't have to be that then. Just anything that can help you get the stuff off your chest. Because until you do, it's just going to hurt more and more. I don't know, maybe you could try it.
Just stop. This isn't about me. Once this service starts, I have to go in there and support Chris's family one of the hardest days they'll ever have. Which, is also one of the hardest days I'll ever have. I've got a eulogy to give without collapsing into a bloody sobbing heap, and that means I have to keep it together and clamp down on any feelings that could bubble over and fuck everything up. Because there are more important things today. Do you get that?
I do. But it's really not healthy
Martin!
Leave it.
So, do you guys have any more thoughts about the eulogy, or do you...
You know what? I was giving it some thought, and I realised you're right, Rach. Maybe we don't all need to be feeling so sad. About Chris.
What?
Yeah, I mean, if he hadn't been so careless, we wouldn't all be in this mess. He left us to pick up his slack with the Pride and Prejudice assignment. He promised to teach you to dance, and now he can't do that. It was bloody stupid,
Stop it.
But if he just paid more attention, looked around him, seen that car before it mounted the curb, none of this would be happening. You wouldn't have lost a best friend. You wouldn't have lost a boyfriend. This pain, this grief, the only reason we're feeling it is because Chris was a fucking idiot. There. Right,
Don't you fucking touch me!
Rach,
How fucking dare you! Chris wasn't an idiot. He was my best friend, you fucking bastard. You don't deserve to say his fucking name. You piece of shit. Get the fuck away from me. Get out of it. I hate you. I fucking hate you. My best friend is fucking dead. He's gone. And you cunt. You say that he's dead. Chris is dead.
Martin, you couldn't mean all that. Of course not. But she had to get her feelings out somehow. Now, go check on her. Make sure she'll be okay. I don't think she'll want to talk to me.
But Martin, you're bleeding.
Tony, go and check on her.
Finally. I was about to ask if I could use one of those spades as a crutch.
It wasn't that bad.
Standing for 90 minutes solid? That is pretty bad, I would say. The only thing stopping me from passing out was the thought of my waistcoat getting stained with grass. Ooh, horrible thought. Of course, you wouldn't have had any trouble though. Not with those hockey player legs of yours.
Oh, shut up.
Like tree trunks, they are.
Excuse me. Who was it calling my tightrope line cliche before? You're doing a degree in English and creative writing. You ought to be able to come up with something better than tree trunks.
Is that what you want?
Yeah.
Would that make you happy?
Yeah.
Well then, I shall endeavour to comply. Right then, legs, strong, muscular, but not tree trunks. Purpose of a metaphor, to add to one's understanding, convey how a thing is like another thing, not just why. Legs are a pedestal upon which sits a trophy. They don't just hold you up to stop you from falling. They do it so that the world can see you and admire you.
Oh, that's
Not done. You've bought your ticket now, watch the show. Your legs are a Land Rover or a Jeep. They take you from place to place through all kinds of terrain, and sure, they may sustain a little wear and tear, but they're still large and impressive enough to get you some admiring looks from passers-by.
Less of the large, dickhead.
Alright. Next one isn't about size. Got it? We're taking requests now, I see. Not drinking straws. Not sunflower stems. Not Greco-Roman Corinthian collars. I've got it. Your legs are like really, really, really short stilts. because they're
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
standing for 90 minutes, I believe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
I saw Dennis
Oh, yeah.
in his little three-piece suit.
Oh, yeah.
You were right. It does look like something I'd wear. I tell you, I was always tempted to reach down and just pluck that pocket square right out of his pocket.
What for? Don't you have like 40 back in your flat?
7. And none of them are eggshell.
I swear you've got a white one.
White and eggshell are not the... Oh, never mind. I've got, let's see, red, charcoal, sky blue, azure, mauve, white, like you said, and black and white houndstooth. I've been meaning to get more.
You need more than that.
Well, 40 is the goal. Anyway, if you think 7 is a lot, you clearly haven't seen Chris's collection. Puts mine to shame. He has an oak one and a green paisley that I've had my one eye on for months now. Well, I suppose he had them. Maybe I'll get them now that... Well, he... Shit. Rach, I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking.
It's alright. I'm sorry, it's not you. I mean, well, it is you, but...
Me? How was it me?
You're too bony. You just get a bit more muscle on you. Or if you can't do that, at least try getting fat. For me.
For you?
For me.
I'll think about it.
Also, you could just get a little...
Don't push it.
Right. You know, as I was reading my eulogy back there, I did think of something.
You did?
Yeah, I've been spending all the time focused on Chris and, you know, everything.
Yeah.
I completely forgot the hockey team dances next week, and Chris, well, he said he was going to teach me the waltz, but...
But now you need to find someone else to teach you to waltz in the next 6 days.
Well, yeah.
And you figured that I'd know how?
Yeah.
Because I'm gay.
No, because you're sophisticated. Chris learned at stage school, and I know you were never much into theatre, but a posh London boy like you's got to know at least the basics, right? So do you know how?
Much as I hate to conform to stereotypes, yes, I do know how to waltz. And before you insult my overwhelmingly generous spirit by asking, yes, of course I'll teach you.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. Why is a sports team doing a ballroom dancing social anyway?
No idea. I think the social sex, it was some kind of irony. Not really sure what she was on about though.
An English student. He doesn't understand what irony is. Shameful. So, the basics of waltzing. It's a somewhat slower dance, and the tempo is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You see? Marvellous. Okay, so the waltz is done with a partner. I assume you have a date to this ball?
Yeah, I'll get around to that, don't you worry. Just focus on the dancing.
Alright, well, you have to link up with your partner. Since you're the woman, you'll be following and I'll be leading. I know, but I don't make the rules. If I did, Dickens would be banned from the A-level curriculum and access to tailored suits would be a basic human right. Anyway, link up. His right hand at your shoulder blade, your left on his shoulder, and we hold our other hands. Now, the core move of the waltz is called a box step. It goes like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Just like that. Except because I'm leading and you're following, you'll go back when I go forwards, left when I go right and so on, and you have to move the foot of yours that's across from mine. It's not as complicated as I'm making it sound. Trust me, just follow my feet. Okay, you got that? For you it'll be back left together, forward right together, you see?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, shall we give it a try?
Tony, there's been something I've been meaning to ask you.
What is it, Rach?
I saw you during my eulogy.
What do you mean?
You looked upset, unhappy. And don't say it was nothing about how it was a funeral. We were all unhappy. That's not what I meant. It was more like, I don't know, it just looked like you wanted to be anywhere but there.
That, yeah, well, I got a text just before you started speaking. My dad, you know how he can be.
Bullshit. I know you, Tony. We may not have been friends for that long, but I can tell when you're full of it. You were upset during my eulogy. You got a critical when I read it to you and Martin earlier too, so what's the matter?
Just leave it, Rachel. Believe me, you don't want to know.
I do.
You don't.
Yes, I do. Chris is gone, Tony. We can't go to him with our problems anymore. We have to be there for each other. So let me be here for you and tell me what's wrong.
You want to know? You have to know. Well, fine. Here goes. None of Chris's family knew who I was.
What do you mean? They all knew your name. I even heard his dad saying that Chris had told him
But
about
none
it.
of them knew who I was. Unless Chris had suddenly come out to his family sometime in the past couple of months without telling me. No, they all thought I was just another friend. Just a mate from uni. Someone who lived on his floor and who he had a couple of classes with.
I'm sorry about that. But what's that got to do with my eulogy?
Well, all of them know who you are. You've known him half your life. You two grew up together. You're the daughter his parents never had. They adore you. During the service, they crowd around you, all hugs and kisses, making sure you're all right, while I have to stand at the back and watch, as the lot of you will get to share your grief and mourn together. So yeah, listening to that adorable story of the last time you spoke, your whole speech about how he was your very best friend and lit up your life, and all the while, I can't let anyone know how much Chris meant to me without exposing his deepest, darkest secret. I'm sure you know how that would sting. Just a little.
That's not fair. It wasn't my fault that...
No, of course it's not fair. None of this is fair. It's not your fault Chris couldn't buck up and tell his family the truth. It's not your fault they spent the whole fucking funeral calling me Anthony, like they're my primary school teacher telling me off in front of the class. And it's not your fault that Chris's family chose you, the best friend they've known for years, over me. The boyfriend they didn't even know existed to give the eulogy. But they didn't know. And Chris isn't here, so guess what, honey? I've got no one to blame but you. Yeah, it's unfair. Well, life is unfair, and now, so am I.
How's that then? That make you feel better? Get it all out of your system?
You don't get it.
I do.
How could you? You're somebody to them. You meant something. I'm fucking nothing. They see you crying and rush to make sure you're okay, but me, if I start crying, who's going to make sure I'm okay? Not them. They just shuffle me off to the side so they can focus on the important people. Well, I'm important too! I was important to Chris and he was important to me.
I know that. Chris knew it too. Well, what would you have wanted me to do? Out Chris at his own funeral? There's a reason he didn't tell his family, you know. His granddad might have had a fucking heart attack.
Good. Priest's already here. It saved time.
Tony!
I didn't mean that.
I know. I understand how you're feeling, Tony. I can't pretend I'm feeling it too, but I get it. I didn't mean to hurt you.
I know you didn't.
That said, I'm not going to let you blame me for this. It's on Chris's family, and it's on Chris himself.
What, you mean Mr. Light shine out of his arse from your eulogy?
Chris wasn't perfect, you know that. The eulogy is for remembering the good stuff about a person.
Well, I wouldn't know.
Maybe if you'd written your own, you could have talked about why Chris wasn't so perfect.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe.
Tony, where are you? It's you. Hi, Martin.
Hey, up, Rach. Sorry, I didn't mean to scare you.
Oh, that's alright. I've just had a bit of a row with Tony.
Yeah, I think I heard some of it. You gonna be okay?
Yeah, I should do. Hey, come on, don't stand like that. You'll make my neck hurt. Come take a seat. Oh, Martin, how is it? Does it still hurt?
You don't know, on and off.
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be sorry. It was worth it. You got to let out your feelings. That's important on a day like this.
Yeah, I did. Afterwards, Tony found me and I was proper crying for a good 10, 15 minutes. Eyes red, nose running, all that. And it felt like shit.
Rach,
It felt like shit at first, but you know what? After that, I actually started feeling a bit better. I'd let it all out, like you said, instead of bottling it all up. I didn't cry during the funeral, delivering the whole eulogy without needing a moment or anything, so I suppose what you did worked.
well,
I'm not thanking you. It wasn't nice, Martin. It was manipulative, and I wouldn't have expected that from you.
I'm so sorry. Rach, that's not what I was trying to...
It was actually. It actually is what you were trying to do. To get me to stop pushing down all my feelings, but instead of having a conversation, you basically tricked me into having a breakdown.
You're right. I know, I did. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. You know, I didn't mean any of it, not a word.
I know, but still.
Yeah. Yeah. I should just... I'm sorry. Rach, I'll leave you be now. I'll see you later. I'll message Tony about the project.
Martin, stop it. Look, what you did, it was wrong and it was shitty and it made me feel awful, but I do know I was being stubborn. You did try to talk me through it. And I wouldn't listen, so maybe just a little bit of it was kind of what I needed. And you running off not's gonna help anything. You may have fucked up, but come on, you're still my friend. I know you were just trying to help me, and now that Tony's, well, I mean, today I'd really rather not be alone. Besides, I reckon you've just about suffered enough yet. Learned a lesson. Won't do it again.
Yeah. I mean, no, of course not. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. So let's just sit here. Come on. Sit down. Let me have a look. Shit's looking well back.
Tar. I'm okay, Rach, I'm okay.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Alright.
Is everything, okay between you and Tony? Because if you want to talk about it, I'm here for you, is what I mean to say.
No, I'm gonna be alright. It's just Tony's got some shit to work out. Chris's family didn't know the two of them were a couple, so he got kind of upset that they were all focused on me and ignoring him. I think he just had to vent a bit. I think he'll be alright soon enough, though. At least he didn't hit me.
I get it. I mean, none of Chris's family have really spoken to me either. I could go talk to him if you think that'd help.
Martin, when was the last time you talked to Chris?
Sorry?
Something Tony said got me thinking. I was lucky. The last time I saw Chris was just lovely. It was sweet and wholesome and everything went fine, but it's like I said in the eulogy. If I'd have known that it was the last time, I don't know, I would have done things differently.
Like what?
I don't know, sat and stared at him, like I said, or taken a photo of the two of us, or just something, anything to make it special.
Rach. It's no good thinking about what you do differently. You did what you did, and look, I know you and Chris were friends for years, but I know him, I knew him just enough to say that just seeing you made it plenty special enough for him. I mean, you said all that great stuff about him in your speech, but I bet if he had to make a speech about you, I don't mean a eulogy, I mean anything, any kind of speech, he'd say stuff that was just as nice, better even. He loved you, just as much as you loved him, as you love him, I mean.
Thank you.
It's alright.
How'd you get to be so bloody wise anyway, Martin? What, did your school offer life advice as a GCSE or something?
You know, you think I'm all wise in that, but you wanted to know the last time I spoke to Chris. I was actually asking for his advice with a girl.
You wanted Chris's advice with a girl?
Yeah.
Why not one of your other mates, those lads you play your sport with?
You mean the rugby team? They,
What, are they so bad with girls you had to get help from a boy who's known he was gay since before he hit puberty?
Actually, it's because it was a girl Chris knew.
What, someone from our lit module?
Yeah, one of them.
Go on then, tell me who it is. Oh, come on. It's like I said to Tony, Chris may be gone, but that just means that we have to be there for each other even more. So if you don't want to tell me who it is, at least tell me about her. Here, let me settle in. Tell me why you like this girl, and I'll see if I can give you any advice. I do have some idea of what it's like being a girl, you know.
Alright. This girl, she's beautiful. Just beautiful. I've not had that many chances to talk to her one-to-one though, but I've seen her around in seminars and that.
Yeah. Go on. What's she like?
Well, she's just lovely. She's kind and friendly, and are you comfy there, Reach?
Oh yeah, you're way better sized for this than Tony. He's all bony and not tall enough.
Oh, what's up?
Go on then. Stop with all the pauses. Tell me. Is she sporty, geeky, shy, noisy?
Well, she's thoughtful, selfless, caring, and she's bloody tough, athletic. Like, she could probably beat me in an arm wrestle.
What is she? On steroids? Look at you, you're built like a bloody tank.
Well, I'm actually only 5'5", all this is just padding. Oh! Oh! Oh!
Oh my god.
Don't worry, Rage, I'm okay, it's okay, I know you didn't mean it, I'll be
go
fine.
get your bandage or something. Just hold on tight, I'll be right back in a second. I'm so sorry.
Oh! 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 God, what a girl. God. God. Hiya. It's me, Martin. To be honest, and I figured, you know, if there's one person I shouldn't lie to, it's probably you. Anyway, to be honest, I'm not really sure that you exist. I mean, I think the idea of you is grand and all. Mum says you give us strength and wisdom and courage, and Dad taught me to thank you every time I score a try. And I thought I heard your voice at my confirmation, but that might have just been an echo. And a big part of me has always thought that if you were real, I would have seen you by now. But none of that's why I'm talking to you. It's because, well, it's about my friend, Chris. Not long ago, he died. You probably know. And we miss him, of course we do. You should see how sad everybody is here. So many people just bawling their eyes out. That's how great Chris was. I suppose, anyway. I'd only I had only known him a few months. And it's because Chris was so great that I wanted to ask you for a favour. Even though I've hardly done nothing for you and you've helped me win so many games, I'd give them all back. Every trophy, every cup, all of it. If you'd just do this for me. Chris was a good lad, one of the best. Sure, he was a bit too fussy and a bit too neat, but it was just because he cared so bloody much. So I want you, if you're up there, if you're listening, to make sure Chris's soul gets to heaven. You hear me? Make sure he gets to paradise, where he can spend all day colour coordinating socks, or reading Shakespeare with Shakespeare, or doing anything that brings him joy, because he deserves it all, you know? I may not have known him as long as Rach, or as well as Tony, but I knew enough to see that if any of us deserved infinite happiness, it was Chris. Yeah, he was such a good lad. In fact, he was so kind and generous and good, he didn't deserve to die at all. If things were fair, Chris would have lived a long and happy life, longer and happier than any of the rest of us. He'd have become a famous theatre critic, or whatever it was he wanted. He got married, had kids, died old and rich in his bed, instead of young and suddenly on a random fucking street corner. And I'm sorry for swearing, God, I am, but I just don't understand why. I don't understand why you let him die. I don't understand why you are meant to love us all and guide and protect us, but let someone like Chris die so young. So, as it turns out, I suppose, I really hope you don't exist. Because if you do, if you're real, but you sat by and did nothing as my friend died, and you're not any god I want to thank or worship, you're just a bastard. And you don't deserve our love or our thanks for anything. You don't deserve shit. And you can strike me down or send me to hell, or whatever you do for saying that, but I don't care. Because whether or not Chris is in heaven, whether or not there's an afterlife at all I care about is the fact that he's gone. He can't be with his best friend. He can't be with his boyfriend. He's gone. And that's on you. So, you know, get your shit together and do your fucking job. Cunt. Rach, you heard all... look, I was just... I thought it might be... you know, I didn't want to get grass stained, you know, these suit trousers are...
Martin.
Well,
Here. Got you this?
oh. Right. Thanks, I'll just do that now.
I'm sorry.
Don't be.
I really am.
Rach, for God's sake, it's fine. I've played rugby since I was little. I've got much worse injuries from lads twice your size and gone out to the pub with them afterwards.
You're a good friend, Martin. I've got no idea who this girl you were asking Chris about is, but I know she'd be lucky to date you. I mean it. You're a great guy, Martin. Don't ever doubt that.
You reckon I should go for it?
Of course. Go for it.
Right. Alright, I will. I will. I'll go for it. Go for it. Alright. Rach.
What is it?
The girl I was talking to Chris about.
Yeah.
Well, I figure I can, you know, I mean, I reckon I should maybe, if you still want to know, I could tell you. I probably ought to, I mean, it's, fuck it. Sorry, I mean, it's you.
It's me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's you.
Oh.
I really like you, Rach. I mean, for a while, I've liked you, and you know, I wasn't going to say nothing because we were working together, right? And I didn't want to like mess things up or screw with the group's dynamic. We were getting along so well, but then all this happened, and you said I should just go for it. So that's what I'm saying. And I'm sorry, I'm rambling, and I said fuck it. I can't believe I'm sorry, Rach.
Martin. That was well sweet of you to say that. But I'm really sorry. Given everything that's happened, given where we are right now, I can't give you the answer that you want.
Oh.
Or any answer. This just place and it isn't the time.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, my best friend's funeral is not the right place to decide whether or not I want to get into a new relationship.
You're right. I'm sorry, I should have waited. I was going to wait till we finished the project and...
Yeah, you probably should have.
Sorry.
Look, I get that you felt out of place back there, what with everyone there knowing Chris for years and all, but that doesn't mean it's your job to try and cheer me and Tony up. Or make this into a happy day. Because I'm sure you've noticed it's absolutely fucking not.
I just want to make you guys feel better.
I know.
It's hard seeing you like this, so if there's anything I think might help, I just, you know...
Yeah, sometimes there is and sometimes there isn't. You're trying though. That's why Chris would have wanted you here. Even in the short time he knew you, he could tell you're a bloody good friend.
Thanks, Rach.
Martin, do you know how to waltz?
What?
Waltz. It's like a kind of dance. One of those fancy ballroom ones they
Oh,
have.
yeah, I know how to waltz. Well, I know the basics anyway.
You do? How come?
I learned for my sixth form prom. I was dating this girl at the time, Annika, who had these, not important. Anyway, she wanted to do a proper waltz, so I practiced this box step thing for weeks until I got well good at it. It's been a while, I reckon I can still have a go. Why do you want to...
Look at you, a man of hidden talents. What else have you been hiding?
I also speak sign language, and I'm like weirdly good at Scrabble.
That's so cool. Can you show me a bit?
I don't know where you find a board around here.
The sign language, Martin.
Right, yeah, that, sure. Yeah, hello, nice to meet you. The weather today is sunny. Shakespeare is bullshit. Your dress is lovely. Sorry, I shouldn't have...
No, it's okay. Martin.
Yeah, right.
I was thinking, how would you like to come to the hockey scene dance with me?
With you?
Yeah. Not as my date. I didn't mean it like that. Just as friends.
Right.
And we can see how that goes.
Of course. I'd love to, Rach. Thank you.
All right then. It's next week on the 23rd. I'll send you all the details later.
Sure. Yeah, no problem. Is there like a costume theme?
More of a dress code. It's proper formal wear. Black ties for the boys, dresses for the girls.
Right.
Don't worry. I already know you look nice in a suit.
Thanks, and your dress. I know you're gonna. I'm shit at this.
Did that Annika not give you enough practice?
Oh.
I'm sorry. I'm only teasing. No, I still haven't picked out a dress yet. You any good at women's fashion, Martin? Shame. I'll have to get Tony to come with me.
Well, that's a cue if I've ever heard one.
Tony!
Sorry, I hate to interrupt. It sounds like you two were having a grand old time. Really finding the funny side of your friend's funeral.
Don't be like that, Tony. We were just...
Oh, I know, just having some fun. Talking about the hockey team social, which sounds like it'll be a lovely evening. I'll definitely help you pick out a dress. And it's nice to have a little laugh on a day like this. A little joke around. It's not a bad way of coping. That's what I'd say anyway.
Tony, I'm sorry. I shouldn't...
No, stop. I'm sorry. I didn't mean... I didn't mean that, any of that. It's just... It was a knee-jerk reaction, and this was meant to help me get all that out. Put it down on paper. Not paper. Not the point. I'm sorry.
Tony, what is that on your phone?
Oh, it's silly. When I wrote something for Chris.
Like a eulogy?
Yeah, I'm not actually going to read it though. It was just so I could vent a bit and get all the, anger and bitterness and stuff out of my head and put it somewhere I could actually deal with it. But yeah, I wrote it sort of like a eulogy.
Why don't you read it?
Sweetheart, I figure most people will be headed home by now, given that the actual funeral is over. But you're right, I'm sure if I called Chris's parents and told them that...
No, not to them. I mean...
He meant you could read it to us, you dickhead.
Alright, if you two want to hear it. I love that you're already finishing each other's sentences, by the way. Just adorable. Okay. I am here to talk about the one, the only Chris Darnell. He and I, as I'm sure many of you know, were lovers. Our whirlwind courtship started with a meeting of eyes through a dorm room window, followed by a conversation over the cafeteria's infamous spotted dick, followed by several months of awkward hand-holding, pale gangly sex, and trying to help him overcome his ridiculous Manchester accent.
Twats, the both of you.
Now, people have said a lot of good things about Chris, all of them true, but in the interest of honesty and fairness, I think it's important to lay out some of his flaws as well, and I don't just mean the accent. No, it got much worse than that. Chris drooled. He drooled in his sleep. He was obsessively tidy, but always denied being a control freak. He'd get this little pout and turn away, and I'd have to change the subject. He said Ian Forster was, quote, overrated and self-indulgent. And honestly, I'm shocked I didn't dump him then and there. But worst of all, he had this maddening, beautiful, infuriating, endless desire to please other people. He'd always say it was my choice what takeaway we ordered, what movie we watched, and even whose room we spent the night in. He was so focused on making me happy, it stopped him ever making a decision or asserting any preference of his own.
The bastard.
He was so afraid of confrontation or making people unhappy that he'd make himself miserable. He never thought about how it hurt the people around him, the people who loved him. To watch him wearing himself down to the bone, just to help someone who, let's be honest, could have proofread their own fucking essay. And he'd lie as well. White lies. We'd been dating 2 months when he told me he couldn't stand the uni cafeteria food. Most of our dates had been there. It was when we first met and I'd assumed he liked it too. And he'd suffered for it because he didn't want to burst my sentimental little bubble. And then, there were people he lied to the most. His family. He told them he was loving all his modules. He told them he didn't drink. He was so afraid of disappointing them that he could never let them know he'd done something wrong. His big brother had done everything they wanted. Degree, career, wife, kid, and they expected the exact same from their little saint of a younger son. So how could he let them down? He couldn't tell them he showed up to his poetry exam 45 minutes late and hungover. He couldn't tell them he wanted to be a freelance theatre critic. So no stable employment and no time or money for kids. And he definitely couldn't tell them why he still hadn't kissed a girl by age 20. Not because he was shy, or because girls our age have terrible taste in men, but because he developed a taste for cock at 15 and never looked back since. And it made him miserable. It made him fucking miserable not being able to be around himself, around the people who raised him and loved him and made him perfectly round pancakes for breakfast. I understood at first, you know, the way my family reacted when I told them. If Chris's were anything like that, I told him. I could understand him wanting to stay in the closet forever, but that wasn't it, he said. His parents were good people, he said. They'd never kick him out, disown him, tell him he was no longer their son. They'd just be so disappointed. Sad that they'd never meet his wife, or his kids, biological ones anyway. Sad that their dream of a perfect little family would go down the shitter if they found out their son was gay. And when he told me that, it hurt. It fucking hurt, and it wasn't fucking fair. That just because Chris was scared of having a difficult conversation, we had to hide. No photos, no phone posts. I had to avoid him the whole weekend his parents came to visit because he just couldn't fucking bear to disappoint them. And the thing is, The thing is, I didn't care. I didn't. I would have put up with all of it. I didn't care that he was a white-lying, people-pleasing control freak who enabled his parents' heteronormative bullshit. Because he was Chris. He was kind, and clever, and generous, and funny, and I would have done anything to stay with him. I would have worn a wig and a dress and called myself Annette to meet his family if it meant building a life with him. Because I adored him. I loved him, and now I just don't want I'll do that. That's what people usually say, isn't it? I don't know what I'll do without them. You hear it all the time in eulogies and memorials and all that shit. It's what I had written down, but it's not true. It isn't true. I knew exactly what I'll do without Chris. We all do. We'll study, do our assignments, take our exams. We'll make more friends, spend time with them, go out drinking. We'll have fun, we'll graduate, find jobs, careers if we're lucky, places to live, we'll meet new people. I'll meet someone new, inevitably, eventually, because I have to. We all have to carry on with our lives, even when we don't want to. Even when it feels like everything is broken down, the world has stopped turning and nothing will ever feel good or fun or light again, we have to, and I don't want to. I don't want that. But as much as I hate it and as much as I hate myself for it, time will not stop or slow down just for me. I have to go and live the rest of my life, because whatever life I could have had with Chris, whether it lasted a few more weeks, months, years or even decades, it was smashed by that fucking car and now it's buried over there in a fucking wooden box, and I'll never know how long, whether we... Ah! I wish there was someone to blame here. The driver or Chris or me. Anyone that I could just point all this anger, this fucking toxic rage at and let it all out.
I know, sometimes it's nobody's fault, just life or the universe, whatever you want to call it.
God.
I fucking hope not. Anyway, what's important is who you let it out on. It's just that you let it out at all. Just get all that anger and grief and shit out in the open.
So it's good you didn't let it out of Martin's face like I did. Of course Chris was some perfect angel. We all loved him. We love him, even with all his flaws. It's just easier to remember someone as being perfect, you know.
Nobody wants to talk shit about someone who's died.
I mean, sometimes it seems like it'll help to think badly of someone, because then you don't miss them as much. Like, pretend that they were never good to begin with. But that's as bad as pretending someone was perfect. Either way, you're not dealing with how you really feel.
Thanks, honey. I'm so glad you decided to drop English and start work on your psychology degree. How did Miss You Don't Deserve to Say His fucking name get so wise anyway?
I take life advice at GCSE.
Okay, clearly you two have some inside jokes that I'm not privy to. So, grateful as I am for your help dealing with all the shit I bottled up, I'm going to have to kindly ask you to fuck off. Oh, for fuck's sakes. They've got all... Oh, I've got grass stains all down my trousers. Oh, and I bet they're on my fucking sleeves too.
Your dress, they're on your dress.
Oh.
Bloody hell, and your trousers! I hope that's not a rental.
Oh, it is, I'm fucked.
This is the worst funeral ever. So, shall I finish what I started? That hockey dance is on the 23rd, and while the lovely Miss Michaels has now acquired herself a date, I believe she still doesn't know how to waltz. So, unless you'd like to teach her.
Oh, no. I'm a rubbish teacher, me. Couldn't teach a dog to shit.
Go ahead, Professor.
Do you remember any of what I taught you earlier?
I remember how you stand.
Okay.
And the beat is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
No, it's 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
How about the box step? Alright. It's like this. I'm leading, remember?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So because you're following, you're doing back, left together, forward, right together. Okay?
Back, left together, forward, right together.
Can you show me?
Back, left together, forward, right together.
Perfect. Okay, let's try together. Okay, here we go. Right. Back, left together, forward, right. Ow! Ow!
Sorry, are you okay?
I'm fine, tree trunks, I'm fine. Oh, right, let's have another go, come on.
Sorry.
Maybe she'd be lighter on her feet if you gave her a hockey stick to hold.
Shut up.
Look down if you need to, and remember you're doing the opposite of what I do. Okay, right. Back, left together, forward, right together. Good. Alright, again. Back, left together, forward, right together. Back, left together, forward, right together.
I think I'm getting it. Thank you, Chris. Sorry.
You definitely are. Okay, so do you think you're ready to do it without me talking?
You're not talking. That'll be the day.
Okay, just don't step on my foot again.
Right. Sorry.
Excuse me. Mind if I cut in?
You'll have to ask the lady.
Of course. May I have this dance?
You may.
The end.